Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we're going to discuss to you the various perspective of the self. Before we proceed to our presentation outline, let me ask you first this question. Do you truly know yourself? This question is often asked not just by ourselves, but mostly by other people. And I remember the task given to us by Sir Mads, where we need to answer the question, who am I? And I observed that I cannot completely answer that question if I didn't ask some thoughts or ideas about myself from my family and friends. And that is the main objective of this presentation. You were able to know the various perspective of the self in four different areas, which are the philosophical, sociological, anthropological, and psychological perspectives. Self is something that you own. Self is something that cannot be steal from you. So you should take care of yourself because that is the thing you have that no one can have. Philosophical perspective of the self. Philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. When we say philosophical perspective, the first thing that comes to our mind is a person who study a topic and have a deep understanding about it. And with that, my members will present to you the following philosophers who have a deep understanding about the self and give their opinions about it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning or good afternoon to each and everyone, especially to you, ma'am. And I am Karen S. Tomondan, and I'm here in front of you all to present my assigned topic, which is who is Socrates in Plato. So first of all, who is Socrates? A Greek philosopher who main source of Western thought. Was born circa 470 BCE in Athens, Greece. His Socratic method laid the groundwork for Eastern system of logic and philosophy. Socrates believes that the self exists in two parts, which is one part is the physical, tangible aspects of us, which is ang physical daw po ay ang nadarama which is nakadikit talaga sa atin. Ang physical parts natin, ito ang ating katawan, nasa ating panlabas na anyo, which is this is the part that is mortal. Hanggang kamatayan ay nandito ito sa atin. Depende na lang pag, kunwari namatay na tayo, tapos malalagas na ang katawan natin. Pero if hanggang kamatayan ay nasa atin pa rin ang ating katawan. And can be is constantly changing. Physical is constantly changing. Magsimula bata tayo ay nag-iiba-iba ang ating katawan. Mula bata tayo, lumalaki at lumalaki ang ating katawan at nag-iiba din ito ng itsura. Mas nag-i-involve yung katawan natin kumbaga. Also, Earth belongs to this physical realm that our bodies belongs in because just as us, in terms of physicality, the Earth is constantly being modified, which is, ang Earth is nababago din at nag-change. The second part is the soul, which is he believed to be immortal, walang hangganan. Ang soul daw natin, which is ang ating kaluluwa, ay pinapaniwalaan ni Socrates na wala itong hangganan. Because the soul is the part that is unvarying, hindi nagbabago. Hindi nagbabago ang soul natin. Kasi once na ang ating kaluluwa ay nasa katawan na natin, hindi na yun magbabago. Across all realms, it is unchanging while it is attached to your body. And those in the physical realm, but is also unmodified. Once you die and your soul leaves the body to travel to the ideal realm. And is who is Plato? Plato is an ancient Greek philosopher found the academy and is the author of philosophical works of an parallel in influence in Western thought, which is siya daw ay isang author din at saka a Greek philosopher. He is born circa 428 BCE. Ancient Greek philosopher Plato was a student of Socrates. Also, Plato founded the academy in Athens, one of the first institutions of higher learning in the Western world. According to Plato, this human self is fundamentally an intellectual entity whose true or essential nature exists as separate from the physical world. Plato's perspective on the actual of self is actually best represented in his theory or example of the psyche. Rather than use the word self, he had what some academics call a tripartite theory of the soul. Also, Plato saw the self as made as rational. Rational means makatuwiran. Nakikita daw niya ang self natin na makatuwiran. Spirited, malakas ang loob. And appetitive parts, which is natural desires, safety, body needs. Ito yung pag-appetitive, which is appetite, mga may gana ka laging kumain, which he urged for the dominance of rationality with spirited and aspects and support, stressing self-knowledge for harmony and moral integrity, essentiality for a good life. Thank you.
Do you believe in life after death? Some of us were told that life in physical world is only temporary and that after physical death, our soul will return to its creator. Saint Augustine is considered as one of the most significant Christian thinkers, especially in the development of the Latin Christianity. Saint Augustine agreed that man is bifurcated by a nature or of a nature. Meaning to say, ang katawan po ng isang tao ay tiyak na mamamatay dito sa lupa. But the soul is anticipated living eternally or mabubuhay ng walang hanggan ang ating kaluluha sa kaharian ng spiritual bliss sa pakikipag-isa sa Diyos. Saint Augustine is a theologian and a philosopher of Berber origin. Kaya po napaka-religious ng philosophical perspective of the self niya kasi siya po ay isang bishop. Thomas Aquinas. Thomas Aquinas is an Italian priest. To Aquinas, just as in Aristotle, the soul is what animates the body. It is what makes us human. Meaning, the soul is the essence that gives life and identity to our physical being. It is what makes us more than just biological organisms, imbuing us with such self-awareness, emotions, and moral capacity. Ang ating soul is source ng ating humanity, distinguishing us sa iba pang anyo ng buhay. Just as said here, that the soul is what animates us, and it is what makes us human. If there is no soul, what are we? We are not human. There is no emotion, there is no self-awareness, and also there is no moral capacity. Because our soul is what animates our body.
Hello everyone, I'm Nur Hussein Omar, and for today, let's take a brief look at René Descartes, a key figure in the world of philosophy and mathematics. Descartes is best known for his famous statement, cogito ergo sum, or translate as, I think, therefore I am. This phrase is central to his philosophy and has earned him the title of father of modern philosophy. Descartes believed that what truly defined us is our mind. He proposed that the humans are made of two parts, which is the physical body and the non-physical mind. The mind, according to him, is where our thoughts, feelings, and self-awareness originates. His famous phrase, I think, therefore I am, suggests that the very act of thinking is the proof of our existence. For Descartes, this ability to think and be aware is what makes us truly human. In his view, the mind is the real self, more essential than the physical body. René Descartes introduced the theory of dualism or the duality, which holds that the humans are made up of two parts, distinct elements, the mind and the body. While these components interact with another, they remain fundamentally separate and depend on each other to operate effectively. In conclusion, René Descartes' ideas to continue to influence modern thought, reminding us how to profound power of our minds. His work encouraged us to explore the depth of our consciousness and question the nature of our existence. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I'm Redentor S. Adas from BSN Social Work 1C. today I'm gonna talk about the understanding the self of Immanuel Kant. Sino nga ba si Immanuel Kant? Before natin i-define kung ano yung understanding niya about self, is ipakilala muna natin si Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant, born on April 22, 1724 in Königsberg, Prussia, presently in Western Russia. Died February 24, 1804. His mother is Anna Regina Reuter. Kant's father is Johann Georg Kant. Immanuel Kant was a renowned German philosopher whose work has a profound influence on modern philosophy. He is best known for his contribution to metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, aesthetics. In his critical philosophy, particularly in Critique of Pure Reason, Kant explored the limits of human knowledge and the relationship between the mind and the external world. His ethical theory, presented in Groundwork of the Metaphysics of Morals and Critique of Practice Reason, introduced the concept of the categorical imperative, which assert the moral action must be universally applicable. So ano nga ba yung epistemology? Study of knowledge, and metaphysics is study of reality. And yung aesthetics is we all know that refers to the beauty. And let's define about understanding the self ni Kant. Kung ano nga ba yung pag-define niya sa self. Kant said that human person has an inner and an outer self, which together from her consciousness. So meron naman talaga tayong inner and outer. So yung inner natin, which is yung mental state natin, is yung mga kaluluwa natin. And yung outer self is which is ito, yung nasa panlabas natin. So we all have an inner and outer self, which together from our consciousness. The inner self is comprised of our psychological state, yung pag-iisip natin, state and our rational intellect. The outer self includes our sense and the physical world. We all know naman, di ba, na ang inner self is psychological and outer self is itong nasa labas, ang outside world natin. Kung saan meron tayong nahahawakan, nadadama, naririnig, yun ang outside world natin. Well, si Kant kasi ang nag-unify ng empiricism and rationalism. So, parang pinagsanipwersa niya yung dalawa. Well, tama rin naman siya. May part naman yung self natin na rational and logical. May mind, may soul. But at the same time, that soul and mind is also interacting in outside world. O yung isip natin is, or yung sa loob natin is nag-interact din sa outside world. Itong nasa labas natin. World. Ito, outside world. So, the outside world na yun, syempre, may interaction sila. So, the result is, yun yung magiging self mo. Halimbawa, internal world and outer world. We synthesize that. So that is our self. Yun yung pag-define ni Kant sa self. Education, halimbawa sa education, inner self natin ay natututo tayo about sa math, science, English, any subject. But in outer self, we need education para makapagtrabaho. Kasi need natin ng food, siyempre, para makakain, and clothes. Kaya sinisynthesize natin, may interaction ng inner and outer natin. Kaya yun ang self natin. Second example is, kapag namumblema tayo, iniisip mo na wala kang kwenta. But in reality, marami ka namang achievement. Kaya nga may internal world and external world. So, ano nga ba yung unify ni Kant? Ang empiricism and rationalism. Empiricism is knowledge is based on experience. Yung kailangan mo muna ma-experience bago mo matutunan. And rationalism, knowledge is based on logic. Yan, yung nagbe-base lang siya sa kung ano yung lumalabas sa pinag-aralan niya, kung ano natutunan niya. And Kant is also known for his supreme principle of morality, the Kantian categorical imperative. The Kantian categorical imperative. Kant's ethics are organized around the notion of a categorical imperative, which is a universal ethical and principle stating that one should always respect the humanity in others and the one should only act in accordance with rules and could hold for everyone. Act only according to maxim whereby you can at the same time that you will be should become a universal law. Example, according to Kant, lying and deception are under all circumstances forbidden. This is because of if lying were to become a universal action, the concept of trust will no longer exist. Kumbaga, pinagbabawal talaga natin na magsinungaling. Kasi kung magsisinungaling tayo, gagayahin tayo ng iba. Pag ginaya tayo ng iba, ang concept ng trust is parang wala na lang. Kaya ipakita din natin sa kabataan ng kabutihan para paglaki nila, ilalaki din sila mabuti. Maging universal law nila yung pagiging mabuting bata. Yun yung the categorical imperative. And additional lang pala sa dakanitang categorical imperative ni Kant. Ang tinutukoy dito is pag gumawa ka ng isang bagay, alamin mo muna kung makakasira ba or hindi. Kasi pag gumawa ka dapat ng isang bagay is hindi lang sa pangsariling interest mo, dapat isipan mo rin yung kinalabasan. Kasi yung iba ginagaya ng mga kabataan. Kaya yun yung nagiging universal law nila. Yan, gumagawa na rin sila ng masama. Kaya dapat ipakita rin natin sa kanila yung kabutihan para gumawa rin sila ng mabuti. Yun yung tinutukoy dito na dapat yung kabutihan ang magiging universal law.
Good day everyone, I am Lady Iman A. Macapoli. Today, we will look at how David Hume understood the concept of the self. But first, sino nga ba si David Hume? So David Hume was a Scottish philosopher, historian, economist, and essayist known especially for his philosophical skepticism and empiricism. So, si David Hume isa siyang sikat na empiricist noong 18th century. So, ang empiricist is sila yung naniniwala sa empiricism. Ang empiricism means na lahat ng knowledge is galing siya sa human senses. So, ano nga ba ang perspective ni David Hume sa self? So, para sa kanya, ang self is a bundle of constantly changing perception. So, para sa kanya, walang permanent and unchanging self. Instead, naniniwala siya na ang self is made up of experiences and thoughts that are constantly changing. David Hume argues na wala tayong fixed na self kasi we are collection of different experiences, ideas, and thoughts na nag-change continuously. For example, kung anong naramdaman mo ngayon, pwedeng iba sa naramdaman mo kahapon. So, yun yung nagpapakita na ang self is made up of changing experiences and hindi siya constant. In simple terms, para kay David Hume, ang self natin or ang identity natin is not stable, kundi process siya ng ongoing change.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Arina Disanday and I'm gonna talk about who's Gilbert Ryle. So Gilbert Ryle, a British academic philosopher that proposed a solution to the mind-body dichotomy by denying the existence of an internal, non-physical self. Ryle believes that self comes from behavior because of how a person behaves in their daily life rather than a physical behavior. So, as for Ryle, the self is not an entity one can locate and analyze, but simply the convenient name that people refer to all the behaviors that people make. For example, visiting your friend's university and looking for the university. There's one can roam around the campus, visiting the library and football field, and meet the administrators and faculty, and still end up not finding the university. This is because the university is a whole system and not a single thing.
RAL views emphasize the importance of observation, behavior, and understanding the mind.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good day to all. I am Yilmaz Sher M. Abdul Magid, and for this presentation, my topic is about Maurice Merleau-Ponty, or also known as Maurice Jean-Jacques Merleau-Ponty. So si Maurice Merleau-Ponty is a famous French philosopher and was born on 1908 but later died on 1961. So, Maurice Merleau-Ponty is often associated with philosophical movement known as existential phenomenology. Ang existential phenomenology ay ito yung pag-aaral kung paano natin mauunawaan ang ating sarili at ang paligid natin sa pamamagitan ng ating pananaw at desisyon. So, according to Maurice Merleau-Ponty, the self cannot be broken or dissolved between the mind and the body. So, napakasimple lamang nito. So, may other example din po ito. So, other statement of Maurice Merleau-Ponty that a mind without a body is just a shell. So, simply put, a mind and the body cannot be separated.
When we say sociological perspective, it is talking about the society. It is talking about the relationship of the self and the society. How does the self behave in the society? How does the self grow in a society? How does the self affect the society? And that is what we are going to talk about in this perspective. And with that, my members will present to you this perspective.
Good day everyone. I am Norana K. Badang from BSSW1C from Group 1, and today I am going to give you knowledge or insights about the topic that is given to me. And that topic is all about self and culture. Self is basically who you are, like your personality, thoughts, feelings, and all your experiences. It's how you see yourself and how you think others see you. Parang it's the you na inside your mind. Culture naman is the set of beliefs, traditions, and other practices na ginagawa ng isang group of people, like your family, community, or your country. It includes kung paano kayo mag-celebrate ng holidays, what food you usually eat, and the values na tinuturo sa'yo. And now, yung connection ng self and culture is, they're really super connected. How you see yourself is influenced with the culture around you. Just like for example, if lumaki ka sa isang family na super close, you might really value relationships and being with loved ones. And on the other hand, habang you are discovering more about yourself, you also influence the culture around you by how you live and interact with others. So, parang ganito, your sense of self is partly formed by the culture you grow up in, and at the same time, the way you live and express yourself can also affect the culture. They go hand in hand and affect each other. So, that's all for this video. I hope you understand it well, and I think thanks for watching.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nada Okamatanok from BS Social Work 1C, and the next topic I will discuss is all about self and families. Family plays a significant role in shaping an individual's identity. The family is an agent of primary socialization that influences belief, attitude, and perception of self and others starting from childhood. Human beings are born virtually helpless, and the dependency period of a human baby to its parents for nurturing is relatively longer than most other animals. Sinasabi po dito, nung pinanganak tayo ay wala tayong kaalam-alam sa buhay at nakadepende lang po tayo sa ating mga parents. And then, yung pag-aalaga sa atin ng mga parents natin is mas matagal kumpara sa pag-aalaga ng isang animal parent sa kanyang mga anak. For example po, yung mga pusa natin, di ba nakikita natin na 1 or 2 months pa lang is iniiwan na nila yung anak nila or nagiging independent na yung mga anak nilang pusa. Unlike tayong mga tao na from childhood to teenager, to being an adult is andyan pa rin yung mga magulang natin para alagaan tayo and suportahan po tayo. Human persons learns the ways of living and therefore their selfhood by being in a family. So by being in a family is natututo tayo kung paano ba ang pamumuhay ng isang tao. Babies internalize ways and styles that they observe from their family. Syempre po, nung mga bata pa lang tayo is nakikita natin na-obserbahan natin yung mga parents or yung mga ginagawa ng parents natin. So by imitating our parents is natututo tayo. For example, yung language na sinasalita nila, halimbawa, mag-Iranon po sila. So, ikaw po as a child is, habang palaki ng palaki ka, is yun yung natututunan mong lingwahe. And of course, paminsan tinuturuan din tayo ng mga parents natin kung paano salitain yung lingwahe nila. And of course, hindi lang language yung nagagaya natin, pati yung behavior ng parents natin or their attitude. So, like, halimbawa na lang is respectful sa ibang tao. So, nakikita mo yun, nagagaya mo din yun habang palaki ng palaki ka. Naman natin nagagaya, diba? Kasi tinuturuan din tayo ng parents natin kung paano maging isang mabuting tao. So, tandaan po natin na hindi naman po lahat is natuturuan ng basic manners conduct ng isang parents. Sometimes, they fail to teach their children. Paminsan, the environment that you're in is not also good. So, yun yung na-adapt ng isang bata habang siya ay palaki ng palaki. So, being in a family is very important for a human being because they are our first lecturer. Sa kanila po tayo unang natututo.
Gender and self. This concept of self is multifaceted and can be examined from various perspectives. In personality, the self can be defined as the individual as a whole, including all characteristics, attributes, mentally, and consciousness. A person may define themselves based on their opinions, beliefs, past experience, action, place of origin, or religion. Kilala niyo man siguro ang sarili niyo. Kung ano ang religion, kayo, place, origin, and beliefs niyo. Kagaya nga noong first meeting assignment, kung pinakilala kung sino nga ba tayo. Yun yung concept of self natin. Kagaya nung sinabi rin ni Kant, na may inner and outer self tayo, na tinatawag yung outside world natin and yung inner self natin, yung pag-iisip natin, may interaction sila, yun yung self natin. And gender is one of important aspect of how people understand and experience themselves. Gender refers for characteristic of form of men, girls, and boys that are socially constructed. This includes norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, girl or boy, as well as relationship with each other. We all know naman about gender kasi every one of us is alam nila ang gender nila. The boy is for the girl is for the boy. But in our generation is nadagdagan ito, which is yung tinatawag nila na LGBT.
How do people actively produce their social world? And how do children growing up become a social beings? The answer is social development. A pleasant day to each and everyone. My name is Julhan Esatopeno, and today I'm going to discuss the self and the development of social world. But before I proceed to my report, allow me to ask this question. What is development is social world? Self-development is a process where you decide to be a better person by improving your character and abilities. The developmental process requires the understanding of self in order to interact with other people. One is believed to be active participation in the shaping of the self. This is a belief that joining in shaping the self o ang pakikilahok sa paghubog sa sarili ay makakatulong para sa atin upang makilala natin ang ating sarili at mas ma-develop natin ang ating character at ang ating mga kakayahan. Most often, we think the human person are just passive actors in the whole process of shaping of selves. In a social world, our past and future may influence what we want to be. and social world may influence how we interact with others. Minsan, naisip natin na natural na sa atin o mga passive actors lamang tayo sa proseso na paghubog sa ating sarili. Recent studies, however, indicate that men and women in their growth and development engage actively in the shaping of the self. According to a study, men and women and their growth as a human being ay nakapaloob na sa kanila. As we focus on this concept of self, we can understand how they relate with others and ourselves in our social world.
Med and Vygotsky's sociological perspective of the self. First, let me define what is sociology. A social science that studies human societies, their interactions, and the process that preserve and change them. For Med and Vygotsky, the way that human person develop is with the use of language acquisition and interacting with others. Meaning to say, yung language acquisition is ito yung natural process ng mga tao, especially mga bata, na naiintindihan nila at nakakapagsalita sila sa atin or nakakapag-respond sila sa mga sinasabi natin without having a lesson or learning the rules of it. Nagsisimula ang language acquisition at a very young age. Have you ever noticed the 5-year-old children, below 5-year-old children, is nakakapagsalita sila ng mga salita natin at hindi natin ine-expect na isasabihin nila yun. Kasi, ito yung natural process ng mga tao, yung language acquisition. Dito nila nakukuha at nagagaya sa atin yung mga the way tayo mag-act, the way tayo magsalita, kung paano tayo magsalita, at kung paano natin i-deliver yung mga salita natin. Both Med and Vygotsky treat the human mind as something that is made constituted through language as experience in external world. Meaning to say, yung mind daw ng mga tao is nabubuo through language na na-experience nila through the outside world or external world. So, napakagaling ng sociological perspective nila Med and Vygotsky, diba? Kung paano nade-develop yung mind ng isang tao. And which is, I agree naman na nade-develop talaga yung mind ng tao sa pakikipag-interact and mga experience nila through external world or sinasabi natin sa ating kapaligiran. So this is the sociological perspective of Meds, no? The social self emerges from social interactions such as observing and interacting with the others. Meaning to say, our social self is how we perceive ourselves in relation to others. And nabubuo ito from our social interactions, observing and responding to others. To add from my statement earlier, no, nabubuo yung self natin sa pakikipag-interact, di ba? Sa mga experience natin. And also kung paano tayo mag-observe. Inoobserbahan natin yung paligid natin at kaya natin nagagaya kung ano meron tayo ngayon. So the next one is the sociological perspective of the self ni Vygotsky. A child's cognitive development learning ability can be guided and mediated by their social interactions. A young child internalizes practices and social beliefs and more sa pamamagitan ng exposure nila sa mga salitang naririnig nila sa mga tao and eventually magiging parte na rin ito ng kanilang sariling mundo. So kung ano yung mga beliefs natin, ano yung mga practices natin dito sa bahay, ano yung mga the way tayo magsalita, ano yung ginagawa natin, is naa-adapt na rin nila at saka, yun na rin yung magiging parte ng kanilang mundo. Lalaki silang ganon. Kasi yun yung paniniwala ni Vygotsky. So, ang pinagkaiba lang is Vygotsky focused on the child's cognitive development, and Med's theory is focused more on social interaction or external world experiences. That's all, and thank you for listening.
So, what is anthropological perspective? From the word anthropology, which is the study of human development, culture, and change, we are going to talk about here how does the self change when the culture applied.
Everyone, my name is Eva Tasafa Damatano from BSSW1C. Our topic for today is embedded culture. Embedded culture is usually indicates that cultural values, beliefs, and practices are firmly established in the social and organizational frameworks of a society or community. This implies that culture is not limited to a surface level behaviors or traditions, but is based on everyday habits, institutional norms, and inclusive guidelines that shape how individuals behave and engage with others. For example, in society deeply ingrained, cultural norms regarding family roles, religious practices, and social behaviors can influence how individuals view their identity and engage with others. Embedded within culture are also the social norms and values that guide our interaction with others. For example, in some culture, it is customary to greet someone with a kiss on cheek, while in others a handshake is the norm. These practices may seem trivial, but they serve to reinforce bonds of the community and mutual respect.
Good morning again. So today I'm going to tackle the material and non-material culture. So what is culture? Culture can be defined as language, norms, values, belief, and more. Together, form a people way of life. Culture is an essential part of human being. Kagaya natin mga Pilipino, meron tayong kanya-kanyang kultura na ating sinusunod at ating pinapaniwalaan. There are many elements and aspects of culture, and each of them can be categorized as material and non-material. So let's talk about the material culture. Material culture includes all the physical things that people create and attach meaning to. Example, clothing, food, tools, and architecture. Material culture is the natural object or materials that are tangible, like tools, furniture, buildings, etc. It is material culture because it is man-made and belongings of a member of the group of people. Meaning, ang material culture ay ang mga bagay na nahawakan at gawa ng tao. At ito yung mga bagay na nababago base sa panahon. Always remember that material culture includes all the physical things that our people created and attach meaning to. Non-material culture includes creation and abstract ideas that not embodied in physical object. Non-material culture consists of intangible and abstract object and refer to the physical ideas of the people where their culture. Meaning, ito na yung kultura na nakapaloob sa atin at galing pa mismo sa ating ninuno. It is non-material culture because hindi na natin ito pwedeng baguhin. At it is intangible. From the word intangible, ito ay hindi pwedeng hawakan. So, non-material culture may influence us on how we behave on the society. So the example of non-material culture is the faith and religion, because we all know that every country has their own beliefs and we don't have the same religion. Gaya natin mga Pilipino, meron tayong iba't ibang relihiyon na nakapaloob sa atin. At ito ay example ng non-material culture kasi hindi na natin ito pwedeng hawakan at mabago.
Lastly, we have the psychological perspective. From the word psychology, study of mind and behavior, we are going to talk about here what are the perspective of the mind about the self.
So, hello, my name is Clark Sinacario and I'm here to explain I'm here to report about the Western and Eastern thoughts of our topic, various perspective of the self, from group 1. So, to start, in Western thought often emphasizes the individual self, focusing on personal identity, autonomy, and self-awareness. Thinkers like Descartes highlight the self as a rational, independent identity. In Eastern thought, it often includes spiritual dimensions, where the self is seen as part of greater whole or universe consciousness, as in Hinduism, part of Atman and Brahman. So, in Western thought, here it says it focuses only on individualism and rationality. And the idea of that is the self is an independent entity, or some would say you will be a separate entity from the others. And in these Eastern thoughts, it emphasizes collectivism or collectiveness of thought and being interconnected of the self with others and the universe. So in Western thought, it focuses only in being individual and thinking yourself as a separate entity from the others, and only relying on yourself or being just independent. While in Eastern thought is being connectiveness or collectivism or being seen as a part of a greater or a universal consciousness, or being a part of the whole. So I hope that explains it, and that would be all. Thank you.
And now, we're gonna tackle about the self as cognitive construct. So what is self as cognitive construct? The self is a complex cognitive construct that involves how individuals view themselves both privately and publicly. So our self isn't just a simple thing. It's a mental picture we create of ourselves, shaped by how we think about ourselves and how we present ourselves to the others.
Following the discussion of Miss Sanday, we have here the self-awareness, self-esteem, upward comparison, downward comparison, and lastly, the narcissist. What is self-awareness? From the word itself, awareness, it is the part of the self that knows what is happening to their surroundings. For example, when your friend hates you, you would be aware of that because you have self-awareness. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how you see yourself, how you value yourself. And it is very important part of the self because it is the one who helps you grow and face the world with confidence. One of the self's nature is comparing, right? So there are two types of comparison. We have the upward and downward comparison. So when we say upward comparison, it is comparing yourself to the people na ahead sa'yo. So for example is, if may na-achieve yung isang tao na higher than sa na-achieve mo, you would compare yourself. You would say na, sana na-achieve ko din yung na-achieve niya. Sana meron din ako nung meron siya. That's how you react. And we have the downward comparison. Ang downward comparison naman is, you're comparing yourself to those less proficient, which means that yung mga people na mababa sa'yo, kumaga, nalamangan mo sila. So for example, if sa exam, nalamangan mo yung isang kaklase mo at sinabi mong, mas magaling ako sa kanya kasi mababa yung nakuha niyang score, mataas yung sa akin. So that is one of the example of the downward comparison. A narcissist, it is being obsessed with yourself. So if you look at yourself in the mirror, for example, and you would say, ang ganda-ganda ko. And when you meet someone, you would say, huy, ang ganda ko, no? So, you will always compliment yourself over and over again. Kasi nga, you're obsessed of yourself. You are overflowing with self-confidence and self-esteem. That is being narcissist.